Good afternoon folks, and welcome to the city of Klaipėda on Lithuania's west coast. And tonight I'm going to be taking a ferry from here across the Baltic Sea to Kiel in Germany. Now that's a ferry journey of about 20 hours with DFDS, and if you fancy coming along for the ride, you're in the right place. Let's go. If you saw my last video from here, you'll know that I was starting to get a wee bit bored, and there's still about 5 hours before we can even check in for the ferry. But the good news is that the ferry terminal is miles from here, so I think we'll just walk it rather than get the bus or something. That should waste about maybe an hour and a half. I don't think it's going to be the most inspired walk, but we'll give it a go. Here on this sign we can see all the ferry destinations. You can go to Sweden, Denmark and Germany. That's where we're going. And it's going to be something like this that's going to propel us through the water for that 20-hour voyage. Like I say, not the most inspired walk, eh? But it never is walking to a ferry terminal. Now this is funny because the ferry terminal is just over there. In fact, I can see a big ferry. That could be ours. I can almost touch it, but no, we can't go direct. We've got to walk way down the road this way and then come all the way back, because there's actually a railway line between us and the ferry. Just down here behind me you can see the check-in for all the heavy goods vehicles. They've arrived before me, they've beaten me to it. As always, these signs at ferry ports tell you about cars and trucks, but they don't care much for foot passengers, that's for sure. To be honest, I think most ferry companies would rather not have any foot passengers at all. And you can kind of understand it, but they're always going to have to deal with someone like me. But it must be a bit of a nightmare to coordinate when they would rather that people just go straight in their cars and straight onto the ship. We are just getting in the way. Oh, this is going to be a long night. I just arrived at check-in, it's just like 5:10. I went up to the desk and they said you can check in from 7 PM. So I've got 2 hours just sitting here doing nothing before I can even check in, and then we'll have another wait to get on board. Yeah, this is going to be tiring. I've made an executive decision. I'm not hanging about there for hours. I'm going to walk back up the road to like Hesburger or KFC or something and just sit there with a coffee. I might as well. I mean, it's a bit of a walk, but I've got all this time with nothing to do. I could sit and watch my iPad or something, but I'll be doing that later on in the cabin anyway, I think. So aye, let's go. So I'm sitting in KFC with a drink. I can't even have my dinner yet because I've got like a meal package on the ferry and it includes dinner, breakfast and lunch. But because the ferry gets in at 5 o'clock tomorrow, I think that dinner must be tonight, even though that's going to be really late. So yeah, I've got to try and keep myself a wee bit hungry for later on. Here we go again. So that's 7 PM, 3 hours prior to departure. I'm all checked in, I've got my cabin key and my meal ticket. And now I just need to wait another hour till 8 PM and there'll be a bus that will take us to the ferry. This is a long process, isn't it? But it could have been worse. I almost went on the Sweden ferry.
Dear passengers, we would like to inform you that the boarding of foot passengers traveling to Kiel has started. Som reser utom fordon har börjat.
Deck 9, I think my cabin's on. So before we do anything else, let's find that cabin and dump the bag. It's been on my back for a long time today. Yeah, I'm just bypassing everything at the moment, but of course we'll have loads of time to explore the ship. Now where are we? 9432. 9432. 9432. There we are. Yes, we have lights. Look at this, folks. Aye, so I'm so excited. I haven't even taken my jacket off yet and I'm giving you a wee tour. So we've got a double bed, we've got a massive TV. Look at the size of that. And we've got a seating area over here. Far too many seats for me, but that's fine. We've got some nice artwork on the walls. And we've got a little hanging room in here. What's it called? Yeah, walk-in wardrobe, that's what we'll call it. And we have got some complimentary drinks on the desk and some information about meals. I think breakfast is included with the Commodore Deluxe room. And then we've got the bathroom. Oh, it's quite small. It's just your kind of standard ship's bathroom, which is always quite small. Got a shower in the corner and some nice products there that we'll be trying later. There we go, what do you think about that? Now as usual, I'll put the prices at the end of the video in the notes and you can tell me if you think it was worth the money. And there goes our next door neighbour. I think they're off to Sweden. That's the ship that I almost went onto by mistake, but I'm sure they would have caught me. They kind of scare me, these big ships, the amount of trucks that they carry. Yeah, I don't like the thought of it, really. Oh look, I think we've got free Wi-Fi as well. So Commodore, one device, 24 hours. That is just amazing. I don't think I've ever had Wi-Fi in a ship before. But will it work? Oh, here's the times for the restaurants now. I have got a meal voucher. It's a combo 3-in-1 it's called, so that gets me 3 meals. I'm not sure which restaurant it'll be in. Probably the Seven Seas buffet. I'm sure it'll be the buffet. And that is open from 9 till 11. And then we can have breakfast from 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. But 9 till 11, that's a late dinner, isn't it? What's the time just now? 8:37. Just a wee while to wait. I've been saving myself all day for some dinner, you know, trying to stay hungry because I didn't want to miss out on that meal, so I'm absolutely starving now. I just love having a window in a ship. In fact, 2 windows. That's probably the best feature for me. Right, let's see if we can get this Wi-Fi to work. DFDS guest. We are in. 24 hours of free Wi-Fi.
Now, the tiny Caribbean island of Dominica is to create the world's first marine protected area.
So I just checked and my receipt for my 3-in-1 combo meal deal, I just need to show that at the restaurant, which isn't open yet, but it should be open in about 3 minutes. You can tell how hungry I am, eh? First in line.
Sehr geehrte Gäste, wir haben ein à la carte Restaurant an Bord und freuen uns auf Ihren Besuch.
So the buffet dining room is very nice, isn't it? Let's see what the food's like. Oh, I might be having one of those later.
parduotuvė. Maloniai kviečiame apsilankyti. Sehr geehrte Gäste, wir haben einen Shop an Bord. Wir freuen uns auf Ihren Besuch.
Dear guests, for your convenience, we have a store on board. You are welcome to visit it.
Well, I would say that's a reasonable range of food. It's not quite as good as... What was the ferry I was on? I've been on so many ferries. Was it to Amsterdam? I can't remember now. But I had a really good buffet on one of the ferries, and I thought it was a DFDS ferry. Not quite as much stuff on this one, but it's going to be absolutely fine. I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so they do use the trick of quite tiny plates, but I've got some potato pancake, rice, schnitzel, chicken, vegetables, some fries. I've got some sauerkraut soup, some orange juice, and a wee dessert. Like I say, it is quite small plates, but I could go up again, I suppose, but I get the feeling that at 9:30 PM, I think this will be enough. Oh, the sauerkraut is amazing. It's not got too strong a flavour, that's what I was kind of worried about, but it's perfect. Take your hat off when you're eating, Steve. Well, dinner was nice enough. I mean, it filled a hole, but to be honest, yeah, I think the selection could have been a bit better, but maybe it is because it's like 9 till 11 PM, maybe not too many people. Yeah, not too many people will be eating dinner at this time. I'm even having a coffee at this time. I'm breaking all the rules. Now, I must admit, I ate that dinner quite quickly, but that's because I want to get back to my cabin, get my jacket, and then get up out on deck. And we'll see what deck space we've got just for the departure from the harbour. We're not going to see much. I mean, most of what we do will be tomorrow after a good night's sleep in that big bed, but it's still worth a look. I still want to be out on deck for when we leave. Oh, I still can't get over how big this cabin is. I must admit, I'm trying to do all the B-roll of the cabin tonight because I know it will never look this tidy again. Right, ready to go. Alright, so deck plan. So everything below the deck we're on is just cars and trucks. This is where we are. And if we go up to deck 11, we've got an open deck, so that's what we're looking for. Look at the beam of this ship, by the way. So if I stand here at one side, look at that, it's massive. In fact, let's step it. How many steps? 1, 2, 3, 4, 40, 41, 42, 43. 43 steps from port to starboard, or starboard to port. I don't even know which direction we're pointing at the moment. In fact, are we moving already? Oh, we are indeed. That means we've left port early. Everyone must be on board, so I'd better get outside quick. Here we are, deck 11. I get so lost on these ferries. Right, here we are. Yeah, of course, as usual, I'm about the only person out on deck. No, in fact, I think I am the only person out here. Oh, we're not even out the harbour and it's getting windy already. I tell you what, you don't want to go overboard tonight. It looks quite cold down there. I reckon you'd last about 5 minutes.
Besteht aus 7 kurzen und einem langen Ton. Beim Ertönen des Signals müssen sich alle Passagiere umgehend zur Sammelstation begeben. Folgen Sie bitte den grün-weißen Markierungen und den folgenden Anweisungen. Bitte beachten Sie, dass während eines Alarms das Benutzen der Aufzüge verboten ist.
Notify the receptionist before departure or the bar staff after departure. Please note that it is prohibited to use elevators when the alarm signal is turned on. Upon reaching the meeting point, if necessary, you will be given life jackets.
No way, it's absolutely freezing out here. I can't take it anymore. I think my biggest regret is not bringing gloves. What an idiot. But yeah, let's get inside. My eyes are watering with the cold.
Video on TV about security on board. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for choosing DFDS Seaways. We wish you a safe and pleasant journey.
That's much better. Right, if you don't mind folks, I'm just going to bed. It's too cold to be outside. I don't want to have a beer or anything. And I have been filming since about 6 o'clock this morning. And I know it's not brain surgery, but it's still tiring, so aye, I'm going to retire for the night. So I will see you in the morning and I'll give you an honest opinion of how this bed is. And to be honest, it doesn't look too bad. See you in the morning.
Good morning, dear guests. Breakfast is now being served. Enjoy your meal.
Well, good morning, and what a great sleep I had last night. In fact, I think I slept for about 8 hours. And I am sorry, DFDS, that is not 2 singles put together. That's a proper double bed, and it's one of the comfiest beds I've ever slept in. I've made a bit of a mess, of course, but let's forget about that. Let's go for breakfast. And I love how I'm on deck 9 where all the public areas are, so I don't have to walk far for breakfast either. Well folks, breakfast with a view, and what can I say, I've excelled myself at breakfast this morning. We have got like the traditional British version, some American pancakes and syrup, some apple strudel, some porridge, orange juice, boiled egg, and look, even some breakfast dessert. Yes, I know, this is a ridiculous amount of food, isn't it? Oh well, someone's got to do it. Well, breakfast was fantastic, but let's be honest, with all that food, there's only one thing for it now. We've got to get up on deck and go for a brisk walk. It's going to be cold out there. I'd better put on every layer that I've got. I've been averaging about 38,000 steps a day. I'm not sure I'm going to do that up there today, but we'll give it a good shot. I think that should do the trick. Let's go. Aye, it is feeling a bit like November up here this morning, folks. No surprises there, but what does surprise me is the number of trucks have squeezed onto the ship. I think this route is all about freight. In fact, on the inside, facilities are a bit basic. It's all about moving that stuff from one country to another, and the rest of us are just on here for the ride. This is where all the profits are made. Now, I'm not really sure where we are this morning. Well, apart from on the Baltic Sea, I know that much, but the Wi-Fi on board is so bad that I can't check our position. But I do know we'll be passing a bit of Russia, then the north coast of Poland before we arrive into Germany. But it's not exactly what you'd call the most scenic route in the world, is it? And with the on-board facilities a bit limited, I think I'll be spending a lot of time just chilling in my nice big comfy cabin. If you're travelling aboard the Aurora Seaways, be very careful. The decks are super slippery. In fact, I think they need to be replacing that non-slip surface. But despite that, I've got a challenge. I'm going to try and walk 10,000 steps today up on this open deck before we get off the ship. No, in fact, let's try and do it before lunch. There's a challenge. Oh, don't whistle at sea. Is that not one of the rules? Too much information, I know, but I've got full thermals on this morning and it feels good. As well as the open space on deck 11, you've got another couple of open areas in the lower decks as well, and this is where you've got like the designated smoking area, although down here people are just smoking everywhere, so I much prefer to be up the stairs in the fresh air. Got to get those steps in somehow. You know what I've just noticed, and it's only just occurred to me, I think this is the very first time I've ever got up in the morning on a ferry and I haven't been completely exhausted. I've actually got energy. This is a good feeling. Maybe these fancy cabins are the way forward. Just an update, I'm still walking by the way. This 10,000 steps target, it's proven to be harder than I thought on these decks.
For better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the shore.
So there we go, we've made it, and with more time than I expected actually, because we've just crossed a time zone and dropped back an hour. So I've actually still got about 2 hours before lunch, and I know for a fact that I'm the first person on this ship today to reach 10,000 steps. Oh, at last, let's get back inside. Now don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this cabin, but I just get the feeling like I shouldn't be here. What's it called? Imposter syndrome. And I'm just kicking about with all this space to myself. But the cabin is pretty perfect. I would say it's only missing 2 things, that'd be a fridge and a kettle. And I kind of feel like a cabin of this standard should have both of those items. But in general, a very comfortable place. And the temperature has just been perfect. I've had it on this kind of like neutral setting, but you can adjust it colder or hotter. Either way, it's not the best touchscreen pad, but aye, it does the job. So all in all, a perfect place to spend a long ferry journey. As you can see, I've just gone for a light lunch. We've got some kind of meat and potatoes, veggies, some vegetable soup, and some nice little treats and some bread for the soup as well. That'll keep me going, won't it? Well, I'm afraid it's time now to say goodbye to my cabin. You need to vacate it an hour before arrival, and I've just been getting all my stuff together. That actually took a while. I think I was quite settled in here. While I was underwhelmed with the ferry itself, I was totally overwhelmed with the cabin, and it certainly made that 20-hour ferry journey just fly by. Goodbye, cabin.
Dear guests, due to a short standing time at the port, we will start, with your permission, collecting bed linen from the cabins now. We apologize for any inconvenience.
We are dreamers of the shore when we can't read the sky. We just sail with the wind that we've got. And when we're drowning in doubt, just keep on believing. We are dreamers of the shore.
That's us just arriving into Kiel Harbour now, and I'm sorry there hasn't been much quality footage because light is fading fast. Although to be honest, I thought it'd be dark by now, so yeah, this is all a bonus. Now we just did a big turn because we have to reverse into port, and I think that's so all the trucks can just drive straight off. I've just realised I've still got some work to do this evening because I was going to walk to my hotel. I know the hotel's on that side of Kiel, and that is a lot further than I thought it was going to be, so aye, we'll need to try and work out some public transport options. And come to think of it, how do we get off the boat? Do we go off on the bus again? I suppose we do. There's been no announcement for foot passengers, but I guess I'd better go and find that bus. It's all quiet now, the drivers have all gone back to their vehicles and there's just a few of us left, foot passengers, waiting to see what we do. I imagine we're going to get a bus off, but there's always a wee bit of a delay getting off a ferry, I'm used to it. This is our wee minibus that'll take us off the ferry now. Of course we had to wait till a lot of the trucks were off before we could leave, but there's always that delay, like I say. Welcome to Germany, folks. Where do we go from here? You know what? I've got absolutely no idea. I'm just following people. Let's hope there's a bus stop not too far away. It's very dark and it started to rain. Well, in fact, here we go. It's not actually as bad as I thought. We can walk to my hotel for tonight in around about an hour and 10 minutes. I thought it was further than that. It looked further than that. So, aye, rather than get public transport, I think I'm just going to walk. I need the steps anyway. I need to get my steps count up for today. I've really not done enough exercise, so it's not a bad thing. So yeah, thank you so much for watching today, folks. And on this dark, wet night, I bid you farewell. See you in the next one. Bye-bye. Okay, so I'm way too tired to still be recording, but I've just arrived at my hotel in Kiel, and when I walked into the room I was a wee bit blown away. I love that wallpaper. Oh, look at that, we even got some games. Right, this time that's definitely it. End video.
Hold on tight. I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every day. We are dreamers.